Hello and welcome to ARK, the complete series. Well, we're on the Genesis ship and I thought today we'll go and explore space. So that's the gap basically between these rings essentially. Have a look on the map, you can see we've got like a left ring and a right ring, and then there's this gap in the middle. And that's just space basically. You've got all these asteroids and there's different things that you can actually get depending on basically the planet that you've actually gone to, because at night what happens is the planet, just out of curiosity, I'm just going to double check, right, that's okay. The last thing I want is to start warping around while I'm in here, but the idea is that this ship is actually moving to different planets, and depending on the planet or the type of planet, it seems you end up with different types of asteroids or fragments, and each of these different types gives you different types of resources. It's completely random, but there's certain types of resources I'm interested in here. So I mean, this is a way I can get access to element, for example, because you can get element shards, element dust, for instance. There's, I think it's the Mutagel as well you can get. There's a good supply of metal. There's quite a lot of different resources you can get. It all depends. So this particular one, I'm just going to have a look and get a clue. Yeah, I was trying to see if I can get a clue from the planet itself, but this particular planet, the rocks here, they're giving us, well, you've got the metal rocks there, and then you've got the element dust. Now, I must admit, this wyvern here is a bit, it's a bit odd. Stop it. Yeah, that's true. It can't land. I mean, I can set down more or less, but the wyvern over there can't. It's just weird. Anyway, so we've got element dust on this one, so I can mine that up with, say, like the mining drill, for instance. So that's quite useful because you can turn that element dust. If memory serves, you can turn that into, let's have a look. Yeah, we can turn the element dust into unstable element shards, and then that can then be turned into element as well. So if you can get the shards, you can get the dust, but yeah, you need 1,000 dust to make one element, so that's pretty pricey, I must admit. I'd rather have the element shards themselves, but you need a tech replicator to do that. So, I mean, I'm getting quite a bit. I mean, you've got most of the day to gather all this up, and there's a lot of it around, you know, based on the amount of rocks and what have you've got. But as I say, on this particular one, you can get, there's metal over here as well, so that's a rich metal rock. But, yeah, I think what I'm going to do for the moment, so I'm just going to have a bit of a run around, gather a lot of this element dust. Oh, we actually got one element in the process. Ah, interesting. Because I was having a look, I mean, you need a, if you want to make an actual replicator, the tech replicator is going to need, wow, 100 element. So that's a lot of element you need to make one of those. I mean, you can always go to HLNA.
Got some hexagons you're keen to spend?
Funny enough, no. So I mean, it costs about 2,000 hexagons. You could get it that way. Yeah. So yeah, you could get it that way. Otherwise, it's going to be a case of probably farming these sort of places, either for the element dust or for the actual element shards and the element you get there. I mean, I'm not seeing any of the well. I mean, you get some elements. That's not too bad. I mean, I tried it with a pick, but it's not. Yeah, it's not interested. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bit of a play around and just gather this stuff, because there's, I mean, all the rocks are pretty much the same. So on here it looks to be just element dust or the metal. Right, I'm going to have a bit of a look around though, just on the off chance. Because there are other, I mean, there are other dinos on here, out here, there's the Astrodelphus, I think it is. that you can tame. And there's another, as far as I'm aware, there is another dino out here. That's why I've got this wyvern actually. I'm being like extra careful because it's like, yeah, if I end up with a void worm coming after me, yeah, that could be nasty. Now, I don't know if this thing will help. I mean, it's a lightning wyvern. It's actually the zombie version, but I don't know if that'll still end up with me getting unseated, or whether I'll be. I thought I heard something, or whether I'll get protected because it's a lightning wyvern. It's got protection from lightning attacks. So I don't know. I'll have a bit of a look around just to see what we can see, because so far it's just rocks. I mean, maybe what you get in terms of the dinos depends on the actual planet as well. Because at the moment this place is looking pretty empty except for the rocks. Oh, crikey. Okay, I'll take that back. Dino light, that's a lot of them. So yeah, they're the Astrodelphus. That's a lot of them as well. They're all seem to be stuck in one place. That's a cool design, mind. A cool idea having all those different colours. Look really cool. So yeah, we'll have to start thinking about taming those sort of things as well. 95. I keep hearing these noises and it's freaking me out. Because I've seen seekers in here as well at times. Now let's go to a bit of height. We might get a better idea what type of planet this is. I'm just surprised, like the wyvern doesn't seem phased. There's no warning of like oxygen loss. This looks like an ice planet then. Yeah, it looks like an ice planet then. But it's entirely random, you know, the type of planet you end up at. And it's that planet that's deciding the kind of fragments that you're getting, which then decides the resources. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play around in this area and try and gather up more of this element dust, because that's something I could definitely do with. Because the goal is really I want to get into the tech era. I mean, I want to be able to tame things like the tech strider as well. So there's resources in here, then Mutagel I think it is that I need. But that's going to be another planet. So I've got a fair amount of time still left before we warp somewhere else. So yeah, I'm going to go around and see how much dust I can get. This time around, I've actually brought Rainbow over with me because she's got a much better carrying capacity. But it's a case of she's actually landing. The wyvern always wants to land on something, and it was, for whatever reason, it just couldn't land. Rainbow seems to be handling it better, I must admit. She's not going to try and like forcibly land on something. I think she's just going to hover in mid-air. Anyway, where we've got to do this time is, looks like a molten, some sort of like molten volcanic planet over there. So different asteroids, different resources. So these ones, doesn't say what it is. Try the drill. Nada, nothing. Okay, let's try the pick. Ooh, so this gets me ambergris and mutagel. Ah, okay. Well, the only catch is this stuff. It's got a spoil time of about, what was that, 20 minutes or something. That does not spoil time the mutagel, so that's good to know. One odd thing I noticed actually, because I was what time is it? I'm starting to panic there. one thing I noticed is I was just on this one so like asteroid, and I was just running around and all the resources just kept respawning. So that was kind of odd. Maybe it's my server settings or something, but I just picked out one like rock and that was it. I didn't bother going anywhere else. The only trouble is this ambergris weighs a ton. I mean, I'll need it if I want to tame other things. But Struth, this is gonna be annoying trying to. If you want to harvest the mutagel by the looks of it, it's going to take forever and a day because you're going to have to keep dropping the ambergris. There's no easy way to do it. That's the trouble. It's none that I can see anyway. So these little brown rocks then, where we can get our mutagel from, and then we can turn that into mutagen for the. I think it's for the textrider. I think that's what that needed. I don't need any of this, so I'm not. That's why I'm not going to keep any. But one thing I've also done, I'm just going to head back to Rainbow just out of curiosity. I give you this. So for me, it's 7.1. Yeah, it's just the same. But one thing I've done is I don't want to have to keep going backwards and forwards to the base. Just keep hearing this noise, and I don't know, it sounds like. Oh, I don't know what it is, but it's not comforting. But what I've done is I've just brought some storage over here to make my life easier. I can build over here, so that's fine. Now, it'll probably go a lot better once we get like dedicated storage, because you can just basically designate a specific storage point for certain types of resources, and that'll be a lot easier. But this saves me having to keep going backwards and forwards to the base. And what I can do is I can just build an entire crafting area here, basically. I mean, it's a big area. I mean, I'm the only person on this server, so it doesn't really matter. But it means if I build myself like a resource, crafting area here, I can just store all the resources in a short trip to the nearest rock. Get what I need, put it in there. Just every time you get the cycle where it moves and goes to another place, you can gather some more stuff as and when you need to. But I'll have a look around here and see what else there might be. So far we've found the mutagel, but we also can get the ambergris there as well. So that was the little brown rocks. Just wondering if there's anything else. But yeah, I don't know whether to say whether it was just the server's settings or something, but on the last one, I never left that one rock, and I just kept running around, harvesting up the element dust. And by the time I'd cleared one section, and the next area I'd just left it pretty much just. And all the nodes just respawned, so I just gathered it all back up again. I'm not really seeing anything else, I must admit. Ooh, now that's a thought. I wonder what happens if. I'm not going to try it. I was just thinking. I wonder what would happen if she ran out of stamina, because technically we're in space. I mean, normally when you've got a flyer and it runs out of like stamina, it just falls to the ground, but technically there is no ground to fall to. I'm just thinking that. I'm not really sure I want to find out, quite frankly. Let's have a look. I'm not seeing anything other than those options. Oh, so there's more. Oh, there's metal there, so you can get metal rocks as well. So may as well get that while I'm here. So either way they can't land, but at least she's going to stay in the air, whereas the wyvern, every now and again, I think that was one of the big complaints of like wyverns during Scorched Earth, was that they're an absolute pain to sort of like land. You usually end up with your wyvern would be stuck up in the air, so I think they set them up so that after a while they'll try and land somewhere else anyway. Wow, I'm right at my limit here. I can't carry any more. No, still too much. Even with a drill, I've still got too much. Jeez Louise. But yeah, I think they put in a mechanism to basically force them to land. So that I think that's the problem, is it keeps trying to land every so often. And the problem I was finding is that it kept, like, every time I sort of kind of caught up with it, would fly off somewhere else. It was being a real pain trying to get it. And the I don't know if they've changed something, but I can't move. You can't even use your boosters. So if you're overloaded, it won't let me jump up in the air to then fly, you know, while I've got the boosters, for example, of the jetpack. That's not working. So you're kind of stuck now. So I suppose I could tweak my settings basically, because my weight's at 550. Maybe put more points into weight or something, but yeah, it's something to think of. Maybe move the forge over to here, for example. Because geez Louise, I mean that's a lot. And I mean all this lot moves anyway. Oh no, that's a thought. Because technically this is part of the ship. So what's moving is the ship's warping, and then it sort of like materializes somewhere else essentially. So this structure should stay intact. So the next time we move, in theory, that part stays. Because I did see some sort of warning about when it moves that you are at risk of your tames being lost, for example. Especially if you leave them out in space. So that's something I'll have to bear in mind. I'm keeping my eye on the clock basically to make sure that I don't stay out here when it warps. But right, I'm gonna keep plugging away so we can get Mutagel, we can get the ambergris from those little brown rocks. There's also the stone as well. So that's something else you can get from this one. So that's more of a molten planet, I think it was, the volcanic one. Now this is actually turning out to be quite a handy way of getting rid of all those items you don't want. At the moment, all I'm interested in is the Mutagel down here. Now the trouble is, we've got these brown rocks, and you'll get the Mutagel, the ambergris, and the stone. So it's a bit of a pain having to, you know, filter it out and tell it what to drop and what to keep. But what I found is, if I actually put things on the actual hotbar, so they'll basically stay, and then I can just empty my my bag. So if I go and harvest this rock here, see, we've picked up 7 Mutagel from that one. Harvest that one. Right, so I'm overloaded now, so I need to start dropping things. So I'll go into my inventory. The only thing that's in there is the ambergris and the stone, because it's building up on the hotbar. I've been dragging this Mutagel over to the hotbar. I've put all the rest of the things that I normally have on the RG, but it means I can just basically now just drop all of my items, and the Mutagel that I do actually want just stays on the hotbar. So that's actually a bit of an easier way I'm finding to, especially if you want to gather a lot of this stuff. But yeah, definitely useful that. Well, this time around we've got a different planet, and we've got different types of resources. I'm struggling to tell what type of planets these are, to be honest, because it's like, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I mean, this one looks like we've got, I mean, metal seems to be a sort of like a common theme. So we've got metal rocks on this one. And that looks like obsidian there. Yeah, that looks. I would say that looks like oil. Yeah, that's oil. That. Oh, cool. So we can get. That's a good way to get oil then. Okay, so that's what we can get off that one there. So there's the oil, metal. Oil tends to weigh a lot. And 74. How do you do for oil? So it's 20 for me, it's 20 for you, so it makes no difference really. Let's have a look and see if there's anything else other than the oil. And the oil rocks again. What did you land for? You weren't supposed to land. So crikey, if you need oil. This, I must admit, this is a very interesting mechanic to add into the game. You know, you just jump from one planet to another and it's entirely random, but it makes it sort of like the grind a heck of a lot easier, I suppose, when you think of, you've got like most of the, what is a day to harvest like tons of one specific resource. I mean, the base that I've built, which is just basically just those crafting stations for now, has survived intact. But it seems to be making the grind process a heck of a lot easier, especially if it just keeps respawning back in quickly. But I just want to have a quick peek and see if I can find anything other than the oil, basically. I mean, if you just park yourself on, say, this one here, I mean, if these are just going to quickly respawn, you'd be able to gather an absolute ton. Yeah, so I mean, I'm getting some sort of like gravity just by standing on the asteroid. But I'm going to have to, yeah, this is the same catch as before. I'm going to have to drop stuff because I can only carry so much. And I'll have to filter it out and say I don't want the stone, for instance. But I mean, I could probably gather, like in this one session, I could probably get like a lot of stone. Yeah, a lot of oil rather, to last a long, long time. Oh dear. And all the foobar, all the oil, all the gasoline's on Rainbow. Or at least I hope I haven't dropped any. that would be embarrassing. You got any? Yeah, I'll have my gasoline back then. Because before I was just dropping everything. So it made sense to leave everything on her. I love the colours in these, like nice shiny, like stones. You know, you'd expect them to like oil, because like the oil residue you'd expect. Okay. So yes, I can see you doing quite a few sort of like, geez Louise, I can't budge. I can't budge, I'm gonna have to drop stuff. No. But this amount of oil alone is going to last a long, long time. How far am I over? Right, that'll do. Right, so I guess it's a case of farming what we can, and then we'll see what we get on the next planet. Can't quite make out anything about this planet because I can't find it. It's out there somewhere. Yeah, it's definitely out there somewhere. I just can't seem to see it. Mind you, it is early because we've only just more or less just got here. But this one's looking a bit barren. I mean, it's definitely different. So we've got the metal nodes over there, and I'm just wondering if these are crystals. I mean, it seems kind of pointless if our Parker. She's just going to fly off anyway, but yeah, she's just going to fly off anyway. So I think, oh, can we mine these? Ah, yeah, so it is, it's crystal. So there's some of them you can, some of these crystals we'll be able to get then, so that's quite useful. Except for the fact that they weigh a ton. crikey! So even with the mining drill, it's still weighing a lot. Yes, that's going to be a lot of frequent trips I can see, but yeah. So this one's whatever type of planet this one is. It looks to be metal and crystal. So that's quite fortunate in some respects that we're getting a different one so far, at least each time. So we'll do a bit of harvesting, and then we'll see what the next planet is going to be like. We've managed to get to a different looking type of planet by the looks of it, because I certainly don't recognise those giant pearls or whatever they are. I'm trying to see what type of planet it is. You can just about make it out over there, but I don't want to stray too far because, well, basically I want to just make my life easier so I can just do a quick run transporting things backwards and forwards. And actually I forgot Rainbow here, because she's an RG, she's got a weight reduction on crystal, so that certainly helps if you want to get a lot of crystal in one go. So this one, well, it's got a lot of metal. Again, metal seems to be the common theme here. So it looks like metal's never going to be a shortage in this in this DLC map. What the heck are these? Like little miniature ones. Well, try the pick first. Nope. Oh, interesting. So this one gives us black pearl and mutagel. That's interesting. So I mean, trying to think with like tech stuff does tend to need black pearl as far as I recall. But it's interesting that you're getting the mutagel as well. It's definitely odd looking planet almost. Like atmosphere. It's like a toxic atmosphere. Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh, it's truth. Yeah, black pearl weighs a ton as well. So sometimes you might get a bit of mutagel, but it's mostly just the black pearl and it's not that much. Just out of curiosity. It's probably wishful thinking, but I mean... I'm just curious, can I harvest that entire pearl up there? No. I can waste a lot of gasoline doing it, but no, it's not going to get me diddly scored, that one. Right, so I guess we may as well start harvesting our black pearl then. Ah, well, this looks like another different type of planet. It looks, well, I say it looks, I mean, it looks like kind of like the one we had before, but this time round we're getting the metal rocks again. But now we've got, I mean, the asteroid rocks themselves are just completely jet black. But what I've noticed is we've got gems. So we've got blue gems. And we've got green gems. And we've got red gems. Seeing if there's anything else. What's that? Oh, it's obsidian. Ah, okay. Oh, that's a good source of obsidian then if you need that. I mean, I must admit, when it comes to... It's not like there's a common theme here where there's a lot of metal ore, which kind of makes sense, really. But you can get a lot of metal ingots off the drop, the orbital supply drops anyway. So I'd say that's about, I'm just trying to think, that's six, I think that's 6 different planets I've found so far, or at least 6 different types of asteroids. There's supposed to be a total of 8, so I'll do a bit of grinding. Oh, hello.
G'day, survivor. Ready for adventure?
No, I'm just going to do some grinding. So, I think I'll do a bit of grinding around here, gathering up some of these resources. And then we'll see if we can find another type of ice asteroids. Because as I say, I mean, there's supposed to be some more, but it is pretty random as to what you get every time you jump. Well, we've been jumping around from planet to planet, and we've finally found another one. So, this is I'd say this is about the 7th one. Yeah, I think it's the 7th one that I've found. So, we've got crystals of some sort here. But, I'll just jump off here. Get the drill out. Yeah, that's what I want. Element shards. So, let's see, we've got a lot of stone, which I don't want. I don't need stone. So we've got quite a few element shards there. 4 element. What if we use a pick instead? Yeah, that makes a big difference. I mean, we've got... I'd say we're getting more element than element shards, which probably makes sense, I suppose. So I suppose it depends what you're after. I mean, at the moment, I could do with more element than element shards. Because for one thing, I want to be able to build a tech replicator. I just noticed at the corner of my eye, we've got metal over there. Hello. Have you got more? Oh,
Oi, survivor.
thanks. So yeah, so this is I think this is probably like a better one I'll be looking for, really. This is exactly what I need at the moment, anyway. Just want to see if I can see what type of planet this one looks like. Yeah. We're right above it. Blimey, we're right. We're very, very close to that planet. And I can't tell from the planet itself, but it was easy enough to spot the rocks because the rocks themselves are like a greeny colour. But then you've got all these crystals that go with it. So, yeah, that's definitely a good one to be finding. But I've gone through a lot of planets so far. This one, I had this type just at the start when I started the video, and I was having a bit of a poke around. But yeah, mostly so far it's been probably the crystal one that I've seen. Anyway, I'm just going to drop these bits and pieces off and do a bit more mining, because there should be at least one more type of planet and one different type of asteroids still to go. Well, that was lucky. The next planet that's turned up is exactly the type that we're looking for. So this one's, I mean, you can probably tell just by looking at the actual asteroids here how much different it is. But this one, again, it's got the metal ore. If we just jump off rainbow there, grab my mining drill. Yep. Let's see what these ones are. There you go, that's what I was expecting. So these ones are sulfur. Crikey, that's a lot. That's going to be a lot of sulfur. I mean, if this is going to be anything like the first asteroid I ran into, it's a case of these things just respawn at a crazy rate. Jeez Louise, that's like a lot of things to carry. I can't move. Dump some of this off. So, what have you... Can you do anything for the sulfur? Because so far she's been proven quite useful, because there's things like the like black pearls and crystals so far. She gets a weight reduction for those, which I don't. Yeah, it's just the same. So stone weighs more on me than it does on you. But she can carry quite a lot. I mean, she's got a carry capacity of close to 1200, so that's pretty good. So, yeah, I must admit, it's like a real game changer when it comes to like doing grinding, because normally you used to have to go out to specific areas and then wait for, you know, however long it would be before the resources would come back. And you wouldn't get that much, I must admit. You're usually going backwards and forwards, or you might build a sort of like a crafting station nearby, or a forge if it's metal, that sort of thing. But this is an interesting idea, because I mean, I think what I'll do is probably, if I can get going with like all the element and what have you, you can build dedicated storage. So the interface is good. So the S Plus, I quite like the S Plus one, because you get this way you get like an intake, so you just have to just bump up against the intake and it automatically pulls everything from your inventory, or in this case your dino's inventory, and it dumps it into the dedicated tech storage. So that doesn't need that much. I mean, polymer you can get from the obsidian, for instance. Metal ingots are going to be easy. Crystal, all those things you can actually get from these asteroids. And the dedicated interface, it uploads the inventory of a dino to an S Plus storage map. Oh, now that's a good one. That one doesn't map wide. Jeez Louise. Ah, so you put it on an actual platform saddle. Also on striders, so you could actually upload it to storage at your base. That makes like a complete change for storage. But yeah, I quite like that idea of just having like the storage facility here, and you know, you can build out a crafting station. I mean, it'd be a lot difficult to do something like that in multiplayer and PvP. But for something like this, it's just me. I'm the only one on this server, so it makes a lot of sense, really. Just keep coming back here every now and again to get the resources. You know, if it's the right type of resource, spend the day that you get to gather it all and put it into dedicated storage. Yeah, that is definitely different. Anyway, still plenty to do on this map. Plenty. But that's all for another episode.